together with us for a minute. Hold on. See something in the air, you with your electricity, and now this is getting heat.
What's happening?
The gods of the technologies are not letting this start streaming.
We're not letting what?
Not letting me start streaming.
But we're on your platform already started.
Yeah.
So if you, everyone out there that's watching us right now, if you'll just give us a moment, and I guess the first pill of understanding that we must swallow in this 2021 year is patience.
So that's
Yeah.
the first man. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to Wisdom Talks. It is January 4th of a new year, 19. Where was I? 2021. I was thinking about the Roaring Twenties and that we're in the 20s again, the Roaring Twenties, and that brought me back a century for a second. So I would like to welcome all of you who are listening and watching this either now or in the future time to this new offering. Today, I have with me a very special guest. Jyoti Ma is an internationally renowned spiritual teacher. She has cultivated projects that demonstrate ways of life that honor the earth and all peoples. As the grandmother vision keeper of the Center for Sacred Studies, she co founded Kayumari with spiritual communities both in America and Europe. Other projects she has helped to convene are the International Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers and the Unity Concert. She is the founder of The Fountain, whose mission is to restore an economic model that is based on reciprocity and collaboration, guided by nature and the sacred. She serves as a delegate of the Mother Earth Delegation of United Indigenous Nations. And it is through this current work in collaboration with the Fountain that a global sacred territories initiative is evolving to protect Mother Earth's sacred sites and her original peoples. Jyoti has devoted her life to bringing unity to the planet by facilitating the development of alliances between individuals who are the guardians of Indigenous cultures and traditional medicine ways. Through this work, through this the collaborative relationships with organizations that are focused on economic, social, and environmental solutions, they have grown, creatively addressing the global challenges of our time. So I am so honored and grateful to be sitting here with you, Grandmother Jyoti Ma, and whatever wisdom comes out of this time together. So before we begin into the exploration of wisdom and truth, I would be honored if you would share a small prayer to initiate this series of wisdom talks and wisdom itself, to offer a prayer to that.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Indigo, for inviting me into this kind of circle where you're beginning to gather pearls of wisdom, right? That's what I understand. And then you'll see what pattern that starts to reveal and truly what wisdom and truth is all about. So, what a glorious way to start 2021 because it's definitely the medicine of our time. And thank you for inviting me to pray. I love to pray. So, if everyone that's with us will just sit yourselves down and get real comfortable, close your eyes and allow yourself to go inside and sit down inside the center of yourself where that starlight lives, that starlight that brightens itself and animates life here. And it is the place where silence resides. So if we can sit there in that moment, we'll allow the presence of silence to inform us in this gathering today. Dear Mother, Father, God, spirits of the four directions, those above us and below us, and those that work through us, I give you great thanks today. I give great thanks to the ancestors' hand that is on every single one of us gathered today in this circle, to be inspired by your information and by what you share with us and ignite in us and light up in us. I give great thanks for your protection and your guidance on this path. I give great thanks to the ancestors of this land, of the Pomo peoples and the coastal Miwok, whose territory I sit here offering this prayer, to the standing tall redwoods that are gathered around my house, to the four-leggeds and the two-leggeds, the creepy crawlies, the ones with wings, the air moving through all the water that fell upon us today to nourish all of this creation, and for the fire inside every belly here, Mother Earth included, as she has begun this day of our life today, 2021. I give great thanks for the morning star that announced a new dawn was coming, and to the sun that brought that new dawn, so that we could stand up in our skins and bring our presence fully into form, so we could greet this day with all its possibility. We have just come through a major doorway, a big turning moment, as all of my relatives have informed me. And all the gatherings and the ceremonies and the great sacred fires that were lit throughout the new year all over this planet to acknowledge this passing of a going into a new era. For you see, Creator, as you know, we have come through a time where the Piscean age informed us about the study of the element of earth, about materialism, about grounding things, about putting things into form. And now we're moving into and have jumped into the Aquarian age and have begun a new study for the next 200 years of the element of air, so that we might begin to remember how interconnected we truly are, how our breath has been shared since the original times and is still moving through all of us on this planet, sharing its breath, the intelligence that's gathered in itself as it's moved through an evolutionary march with our souls. Thankful, thankful, thankful. Gratitude is the highest form of prayer, they say. And so I want to sit it down here at this first beginning of this new year and have a gratitude for what all 2020 and its multitude of challenges brought to us. Moments when we had to awaken more deeply in ourselves so that we could hear our heart's intelligence and know how to embrace all the teaching, so that it became a benefit for our healing and for our growth and for our awakening as a species here upon this planet. I give great thanks, Creator, for Indigo and the dream that she's had of gathering us all together around a sacred fire so that we could share stories and allow the stories to weave in and out of this without a plan, with just allowing the streamingness of consciousness to bring its gifts into this moment that we have declared and shared today. I give great thanks for the grandmother that dreamed all of this into being and is still dreaming us now. And through her, I want to touch all those elders around our planet, our first original peoples that have been walking with a line unbroken that was given by Mother Earth herself so long ago in those original times. She brought them ceremony. She brought them prophecy, prophecy that would prepare us and instruct us, ceremony that would continue to bring reciprocity and balance and sustainability to this creation. And I know in the ending time that we're in this great cycle of 26,000 years that is closing itself now, for we're about to move into another 26,000 years. So we find ourselves in the middle of the sixth extinction here. Mother Earth has been through this 5 times before. And so I know she knows. So my prayer is about us listening, Creator, to that wisdom, to that original wisdom, Creator, that walks in truth and brings us all back to the heart of ourselves, for that truly is where truth sits. I give great thanks, Creator, that those that have gathered to sit with us today have heard a calling themselves, or they would not be sitting with us. So you touch their hearts wherever they may be, wherever they're sitting. And if there's anything heavy there, might you take a moment to breathe into it and lift that heaviness off of them so they can get the wings that are necessary to fly us into 2021 and all the possibility that it will manifest. I am told, Creator, that this is a year when we must be very conscious in ourselves with our mind and our words and our deeds, for it is a time of manifestation. You taught us so strongly in 2020 that we must come back to the points of ourselves, to the central 0 points of life inside ourselves, and relight those fires, rekindle those fires so they might shine brightly in us, and that we might keep those fires lit now for ourselves and our family and our communities, and that each of us do that, Creator. There will come a time when the light will grow so bright in each point that it will merge together in that interconnectedness that I have been praying about, and that great light will shine itself, and the light of this earth will be rekindled. And we as human beings have brought ourselves to this moment of history. We have brought ourselves, Creator, to stand in this way and put our skin on so that we might be instruments of service in your will as this divine tapestry is weaved, and we will get to see the mystery of it all and how it reveals itself through this work. Aren't we the lucky ones? I know that is a paradox in itself as well, Creator, but it is when we learn how to hold paradox that we step into whole systems, and we restore ourselves to an understanding that all things are related to one another. And when we renew those relations, we renew something of source so that we can be fed by the intelligence of that source, and our wisdom can walk amongst us once again. For all of this, Creator, and the thoughts that brought it, I give great thanks. I want to take a moment to honor those that passed in 2020, for many souls swam through this door so that they could sit on the other side of this veil and attend and assist us in this moment of 2021 and its manifestation. I give great thanks, Creator, for this wheel of life, for there are new ones, new little babies that have been born during this pandemic. They come here too with a source of understanding living in them, and a seed of possibility that they carry for the times in front of them. And for all of those ages of life caught in between that are helping to hold and sustain and maintain life itself, I give great thanks. I give great thanks for my community that some 30 years ago, Creator, heard a call and started to land ourselves inside of an intentional community. We were so innocent in those days, and still are actually, but we were devoted. and we heard a call and we answered it. And we knew what we wanted to do was to create a space where all life was seen as sacred and honored that way. We knew that something was calling us to come and live on an original way of life, Creator, that was based on reciprocity and collaboration, unity, heart, and all life was sacred. We knew we needed to step out of the box of a throwaway culture and come back to following the laws of nature, those original laws, the ones that teach us how to regard each other, how to make right relation with each other and with all of your creation that is around us, that we stand on, that we reach up and look high into the heavens. I give great thanks for Mother Earth herself and how she teaches us patience. So much patience she has had with us as human beings. But the way my elders tell me, Creator, we've been humans in form, learning about our survival. And now we are moving into our hearts for the first time, into our ascension process, as the earth herself does that as well. And as she moves herself and we move ourselves into that ascension process, we open to the beingness of being human. And that, Creator, is a moment like no other has been seen here yet on this earth. So we are here in this very significant moment, Creator, to hold this force of understanding. We are here, Creator, in this moment to honor you and all that you have put in motion through these times. We are here, Creator, humbly sitting on our knees and giving thanks and offering gratitude. We are here, Creator, to go empty in ourselves so you can fill us fully in the essence of who we are, so that we might all walk in our authenticity and be present in this moment. I give great thanks, Creator, for all this and so much more as we open this door to 2021 and the magic that is surely sown within it. I give great thanks. I give great thanks. I give great thanks. Oh.
Beautiful prayer.
Thank you.
So as we open this door into this new time, this new possibility, carry this question with me of what is wisdom? Hear something here, I hear it over there, someone has an idea over here, and I walk forward. You know, Jyoti, I work with the Egyptian pantheon, and Ma'at is one of my primary guiding lights, and she represents truth. And as I've walked with her and this concept of truth, I keep wondering, what is it? What is it? What is truth? What is wisdom? I feel like, from my humble perspective, our country has just gone through 4 years where truth has been thrown out the window and placed for something else, perhaps. And so, what is truth? What is wisdom? How do we access wisdom, not just more information, this world where we are overloaded with texts and emails and clips and memes and more and more and more and more stuff that we're being fed from this screen? How do we truly access the wisdom and find the truth in these complicated times? That's the question I pose for us. And your prayer, your beautiful prayer, spoke to that so What is wisdom to you, Jyoti? What does that mean?
Well, I'm going to start off with it being very practical. Because right before getting on here, as I told you when we first connected, all of the power in my house went out. And so no Wi-Fi in my house meant I could not be on Zoom. We were gifted, my husband and I, a generator this last year, and so luckily we were able to go outside and turn that on so I can be with you, but it might go. So sometimes wisdom is truth is practical, and it's about being in the full present moment and just learning how to be flexible enough to go with the flow and letting go of expectation, because expectation is driven by the ego. And when we get into expectation, then we're not empty enough or clear enough to access our wisdom and our truth. I was sitting and reflecting upon your question before coming to sit with everybody today. And what came up for me when I thought of wisdom first, I can think of the goddess Sophia, who is the goddess of wisdom, and there are many, many, many of the divine feminine that represent that wisdom because they carry a fluidity of truth. They don't hold on to one piece of the river. They actually allow the river to flow in its full possibility. For me, wisdom is not something we access through the mind. It is an intelligence of the heart. So when I'm in my full wisdom, I'm not thinking anymore. I'm sitting in my beingness. I'm sitting in my truth, which is found in my heart. And my heart has gone through the healing, the inner work that every single one of us have to do, that when we put on skin, we have work to do here. This is earth school, if you will. And we're here for such a short period of time. It brings me to a vision that I had. When I went to the Jung Institute to study there for 3 years, I went with a burning question. Am I dreaming it, or is it dreaming me, and who really knows? That was my question. And I was just starting to wake up. It was just bubbling. The work had just begun. I went with my family. We took the big leap. I went and I asked this question to all of these very learned, world-renowned thinkers. But that little bell, those little bells that go boom and give you that shiver when you know something has rung a truth, I didn't get the answer to my question. And I would come back from Switzerland and I would live in Texas for about a year, opening a center there, and then Spirit would bring me to California. I'm sitting in my living room one afternoon. I'm not thinking of the question at all. And then all of a sudden, I kind of feel that energy that you all may recognize that lets you know, oh, something is here, and you kind of slip down into a still place. And all of a sudden, there was this wonderful vision, filled my ceiling. And it was the great eye of a goddess. And it looked like she had the Milky Way flowing out of her eye. And she had these long lashes. And I could only see the one eye as if she was looking at me this way. And she would slowly blink. And as she did so, as she slowly blinked, each time she did, I would fall deeper and deeper and deeper into a state of awareness. And all of a sudden she giggled and she said, I'm dreaming you. And pop, she was gone. And at that moment in time, I knew that when she woke up, I wouldn't be here anymore because she was dreaming me. So, is that truth? Is that wisdom? I think when someone comes to give an absolute to such a question, that they will not see all the truth of it. You know, we're moving into a time when we have to learn how to embrace the moment fully. And what she did with us in the teaching of 2020 was to get us prepared for 2021. Because we're in a great cleansing, and we're 13-year cleansing that started in 2013 as told by most of our original people around this planet. So we're just halfway into that cleansing. So we got to, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon for God, for the Creator, for that source that brings all form, whatever name you want to give to that divine source, that part of ourselves that's larger than the small little one and the small aspect of self that's here. Because you see, every single one of us is an aspect of that source. And it carries a stream of wisdom from that source, and it carries a truth from that source. I remember when we first started our community, the mother came and she said, "Everyone here is an herb in my garden. Your work is to fully potentiate yourself." That's your work, fully potentiate yourself. And then I will decide which herbs I need to cook in which part of my garden and when. That was not for us to do. So our work is to keep waking ourselves up. We've learned now how to sit in these 0 points. The mother herself, this little corona bug, came through and put us in our room to reflect upon ourselves and what we are doing, what we're doing to life itself here. Are we going to be courageous enough to embrace that truth? Or do we need to be right? Are we connected to our need for our own agenda over someone else's? Or can we let go of those expectations and allow us to embrace all of life in its many expressions? The full diversity of life is calling us into its attention. And what's happened as we've come to this ending cycle, this end of this 26,000-year cycle that we are members of, that we are part of, that we are helping to design. What a magical, mystical moment we are in. And when we're in magic moment, when she's stirring the pot, if you will, just stirring away, everything is moving, right? And that can look to us like something went wrong. It can look like chaos itself, but out of chaos comes creativity. I've marveled at our young people, those that are coming with those seeds. You know, I've watched the stories unfold because they got disconnected from something, and they ended up having to use their imagination to reimagine. And many of them started companies, and they were companies that were helping others inside this world community, people that didn't have food. Little girl made all these bracelets, and then her family started helping her make bracelets, and she did a fundraising so she could get food to people who had no food. Thousands and thousands of dollars flowed to her. Little girl, I think she was like about 11 years old, maybe younger. And we could go on today with many of those kinds of stories. That's wisdom in action. And that's truth finding itself again. At least the way it shows itself to me. If I'm going to have wisdom live in me, then I have to believe in myself. I have to love myself first before I can turn around and love others, or it will be tainted. It will be somehow misunderstood inside me, and then there's something there. There's something that's blocking the vision of truth. A wise person told me early on in my youth, what you fight is what you become. I found that to be a truth. And I found it to be a truth because many years passed by and I watched that statement, and I saw that to be true. I've been an activist most of my life in one form or another. I still am a spiritual activist. That's what she has me doing here. And when I took that teaching into stride, I realized I didn't want to fight. I don't want to fight for peace. I want to be peace. So I've watched it. Now, as an activist, and as evolution moves us and instructs us and brings its wisdom into the play of our daily lives, then I have to be courageous and embrace truth. We, as a human species right now, have to embrace the truth that we are in a critical moment, just like little Greta in Sweden and many others. She takes cot here in the United States, and millions of youth all over this planet are crying for us to wake up. The house is on fire. That's how she says it. She's bringing us truth. Can we embrace the truth, or will we argue with her and try to get her to explain the truth and rationalize the truth and make it a commodity? Because you see, part of what we're breaking out of is a system of commodity, extraction. That's the truth. That's where we are. We don't need to make it wrong. We don't have to prove it for it to be right. We have to embrace it and take from it the lessons into ourselves that have been graciously brought into our moment. If I stay in the present moment fully with my consciousness, then my mind is there with my heart. My mind has gone down into my heart, so the wisdom of it can inform my life and inform the present moment. When I'm in that present moment, then my mind tries to go ahead and see where I'm going. Then all of a sudden, whoa, I could get scared. I could do this. All these things flow up, and I've lost my present moment. So I catch myself. Bring yourself back to the present moment without judgment, without fear. In the present moment, only love resides. Love is strong, huh? But if I let my mind look back, I leave the present moment again, and there are regrets. The shouldas, the couldas, the wouldas. They travel in little herds, and they can overtake us. And then but if I come back and I just catch myself and put myself back in my heart, my mind sitting in my heart, and embrace whatever the divine brings into that present moment. Sometimes that divine brings into the present moment something so delicious. There's a honey, there's a sweetness, there's a nectar. Sometimes divine brings into the present moment a really harsh lesson because it's time to burn the karma. I'm a karma yoga. My community is made up of karma yogis, and what we do when that moment comes is when the karma comes, because we're in earth school, remember, and karma is about lessons. It's about bringing balance, about bringing realignment, as I know karma. So if I hold that karma, no matter how challenging it is, then I burn the karma up. If I catch that karma and I throw it and toss it around, then I make more karma. It just takes us longer to get where we're going. So we burn the karma so we can allow ourselves to step and embrace our full dharma. And as we step into holding our full dharma, we access our authenticity. Every single being has a full bloom and expression of authenticity. It's that fully potentiated herb. So those are some of the things that your questions bring up for me. There's a story, and I can find the book later and give you the author so that we recognize that author. But it's a story that touched me many, many years ago, and it still instructs me now. And it was the psychologist that was going to the jungle. He had a group of people he was taking into the jungle. And he was dismayed because they're in these canoes. They're going down the rivers in the Amazon, and all of a sudden they're like seeing oil slims, and they're seeing bottles floating, and they're seeing things, and there's judgment happening, and we're in the mind now, you see. We've lost our wisdom. But he gets out and he parks his boat, and there's an old man, and he's got his staff, and he's standing looking out down the river. And the young psychologist comes up to him and he says, I am so sorry of what's happened here. I see that the West has brought things here, and not with much mindfulness. And the old man says, the world is as you dream it. And the psychologist went on, but we've made such a nightmare. And the old man says, oh, you had a very, very big dream. You dreamed and saw that there were strands of things connecting us around the planet. And so it is and has become. You dreamed that there were things flying through the air that would connect us on all sides of this planet. And so you dreamed, and it has become. Now you've dreamed yourself into a dark night. So you've dreamed it, and it has become. But remember, the world is as you dream it. And the psychologist said, but this took a while to get us here. How do we correct this in a way that will help us wake ourselves again into a new dream? And the old man said, you just take that seed of possibility and pass it to the one standing behind you. And remember, the world is as you dream it. So I think that's wisdom. Wisdom comes from those old stories that have lasted through generations of time and passing. And they bring truth. Seeds of truth are embedded in them. I've been very graced in my life to have sat with so many amazing, beautiful spiritual beings of all different lines. From India to Egypt, where I went with you, into the jungles of Brazil and Colombia, into Africa, into many other places to sit with those original peoples and to hear some of those original stories that are still shared because they were passed orally down lines of generations of a people unbroken. So there are carriers of truth. There are those that have been given that responsibility, and it is a responsibility. We all must embrace that truth, that what we're doing right now is a responsibility. An ability to respond is what that means. Will we respond out of our heads, or will we respond out of our heart? When we went to sit with the Dalai Lama many years ago, the grandmothers and I, he said prayer is so important, but remember now we need to have prayer with action. And now, as we're moving into 2021, I think that's what it's calling upon from us also is that we take these prayer lines that we've all been handed, that we've been cultivating or have been cultivating us. And here we are standing together now at the world table. It's time to declare what those lines look like, what our gift, our currency is we're bringing to the table. And the most delicious part of the story is that those unbroken lines from the original times have come up to sit at that table, and with that wisdom, guide us in the weaving of this new tapestry that is yet to be revealed. So that's some of what's flowing today in our sharing.
Love this image of the tapestry, right? And that we each are a strand in that tapestry. And it's been woven, but there's this fray on the end where the pieces are all coming together right now. And it's all connected. The image that unfolds in this grand tapestry of becoming is all intricately connected, right? It's not my own little strand in my own little life doing my own little thing. It's that my strand and your strand and his strand and her strand and their strand, right? And the four-legged strand and the little ants that are scurrying all over our planet's strand and the leaves and all of it and the elementals, it's all being woven in together. Means that we get to show up right now and pay attention to what is and how our little strand fits in this whole picture, right? And then to work together in this way. So I have a little story I want to share that has become a truth for me that has been a very profound truth, and I've shared it with many of my students over the years. For many years, one of my teachers and colleagues, Nikki Scully,
Ah, I love Nikki.
class, she would say, the coin of the realm is to pay attention. So here we are in class, we're doing this journey work. We're going into the depths of our inner realm, our landscapes, and working with the various deities that show up, or aspects, or animals, or plants, or whoever it is that's showing up to us in the spirit realm. And we pay them with our attention. The coin of the realm is to pay attention, which then I externalized into my world, right? Not just what I pay attention internally, but how I pay attention here and now with you and with my children and with my pets and with my moments. Years later, I'm on a call with you. It was during the ministry program. I'm a minister of prayer with the Center for Sacred Studies, and I was in my ordination process. And it was one of our monthly calls, and you said, the coin to the realm. I mean, excuse me, the key to the realm. And I was like, the key to the realm. Well, I know the coin and I'm paying attention right now. I am paying attention. She just said the key to the realm. Just show up. And this floored me, Jyoti, because these two very simple pieces, the coin and the key, gave me the truth that I needed to be able to arrive, right?
Mm, mm,
What was, not will be, right? But really arrive and to show up into this moment and to really pay attention. Show up, I'm angry. Okay, pay attention to that. Show up, I'm in love. Pay attention. Show up, I'm feeling giddy. Pay attention. Show up, I'm confused. Pay attention, right? Pay attention. And everything I need, no matter what it is always right here when I show up and pay attention.
mm.
So you brought one half, and Nikki brought this other half of this truth that really has been almost like the path of enlightenment in such a simple and profound way. So thank you for that. Thank you for helping me show up.
Well, I want to say thank you for listening. because that's also the big moment we're in right now. Can we actively listen? Because when we do, magic happens, just like what your story reveals. Because you listened and you caught it, because it doesn't all come at once, right? It comes in these magical little moments,
And sometimes years apart.
sometimes many years apart. Sometimes she's put me on a road that I still don't know where we're going. People say, "What's the plan, Jyoti?" I don't have a plan. I just show up in the moment, and what she needs me to do today, I do. And I let go. Some years ago, it got burned out of me, the need to think I was in control to begin with, because it's a fantasy. It's a mind construct. What is control? Um, that'd be a whole nother hour we could spend on looking at that one. But it's really about just relaxing and being fully in yourself and listening to what's coming, and then working that piece, because now it's revealing. You got these two major pieces to an archetypal realm, and that is what's opening itself to us as we speak. Where I remember when I was at the Jung Institute, an image that really still stays with me is the alchemist that has entered into that other archetypal realm, and it's like he's on the earth, but he's poked his head through the heavens, and there's a whole nother world there, and it's got a different set of laws, and it operates and functions very different than the world where he is. So a lot of what we're doing right now as we go through this very dynamic archetypal moment together collectively on this planet is there's motion and movement. And it's like the prophecies prepare. So many years ago, the Hopi and many others would start to send their teachings out from the prophecies that would say, let go of the edge of the river. And when you do, you're going to see there's a group of you caught in this river, moving with this river, and you're going to recognize each other. The time of the lone wolf is over. Surrender and let the river carry you. It's taking us somewhere. So some of us are just letting go of the edge of the river. Others have been in the river for a while. There's a mixture and a multitude of expression that has occurred as we've tumbled through with the river, cleansing ourselves, releasing that which is no longer needed, letting go of that which is really not ours to begin with. Somehow it got imprinted upon us from our culture, through our trauma, through our experience, through our biology and biography, through all of these different kinds of ways. But that now the water is rinsing us and washing us, and we are surrendering, and we are letting go and letting God. We are letting that which creates move us. And we're doing it collectively like never before. As many have heard me say, the Kogi have told us the ending is falling into the beginning. And so the ending, they say we must watch to stay informed, but we must stay focused on that which is breaking through. And so these kind of dialogues will help us in keeping our attention on that which is breaking through, I believe. So yeah, it can be a scary time for sure. Embracing one's truth. This is what I call a good point of study that you've opened here. And a good point of study on a spiritual path doesn't mean you'll sit in that point and all of a sudden you know the answer to that question. It means that the spiritual path itself has brought a question forward for you to hold, so that many answers can come and sit by the question. Then you have a wonderful point of study that will inform your own awareness and awaken it further and broader into itself. At least that's kind of the way it's worked in this part of the circle, because there are aspects of self sitting all with us today, and they each may have a different way of looking at this same study. And that's what makes it exciting and intriguing and humbling. We must remember to stay humble and laugh a lot.
Brevity is key, I think, in this time.
Don't take ourselves so seriously, right?
Well, and we're entering into this time of air, right? This is the elemental that is our time of the air, and air is intellect. This is true, but it's also levity, lightness, humor, joy, right? Had this heavy year behind us, and so may this year going forward be filled with that levity, tickled with the feathers, right, that make us giggle at unexpected moments.
Absolutely. Little children know how to do that. You know, if we watch little ones, they'll cry one moment and giggle the next and be mad the next and be quiet the next. And they just flow. It flows. Emotions flow unrestricted through them. And so there are teachers in that realm about how to just reclaim that space of innocence so we can just let ourselves flow and commingle with more gentleness and kindness. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I am so grateful that we've had this opportunity to just dip our toes into this river of wisdom and truth. As you said, as this exploration continues throughout this year, every month I'll be meeting with somebody to see what wisdom is for them and what truth is for them, and what comes through, right? And then it's almost as if I'm envisioning crystal with many, many, many facets, right? So many facets, and each facet is another truth, right? And in of itself, it's not the whole truth. It's not until you have the whole crystal that the whole truth, the capital T truth, is there. And so I'm really excited to see what all these facets are, hear what all these facets are, feel these facets as we move through the year together. And begin here with you, Jyoti, has just been an honor. And I'm so grateful for all that you do, not just in this moment and sharing your wisdom and truth, whatever, wanted to speak through to us today, but for the work you do at the Fountain, the work you do with Center for Sacred Studies, with the grandmothers, the 13 Indigenous grandmothers, and the Earth Delegation, and the original peoples all over this planet. You have walked in a way with humility and with perseverance and with patience, with trust, and with the willingness to step into the unknown and to meet it there in a humble and beautiful way. And in that, you've developed relations, connections, friends with people all around this precious earth. One humanity, right? We are one human family, no matter what part of the surface we all live on. And yet within that one humanity, there's such a beautiful depth of diversity. And you've honored that. And I really just want to see you. And I know that you're seen in so many ways by so many people. And I love you, and I am grateful to be with you in this way in this world. So
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll humbly receive that.
please do.
Because what I know I'm very clear about is I'm arms and legs for the Divine Mother and the counsel that has informed and instructs my life. And I am very lucky to be able to witness what they bring here for me to do and to see the effects of what they bring to us right now. Uh, and there is a moment of celebration happening yeah, about this moment we're in. So, and it can be messy. Waking up and carrying something. We haven't made this road happen. It's not a well-traveled road. We don't have the plan. We don't have the map. We just have the moment. So I think we've got to, as we go on down the trail, is to remember our humility, so that when we make mistakes, because we will, we know that all of us are showing up to do the best that we can. And that's what's important to remember, because then it will bring our compassion forward and our forgiveness forward, and our authenticity will arrive in such humbling moments. So that's what I've learned walking this path you described. Um, and I've met people on the path that understand that we will get messy at times. We will bump into each other. We will make mistakes, and we will keep walking, because there is something our hearts are yearning for, and that yearning is what's pulling us through the keyhole and into the larger understanding of who we are. It's calling for our awareness to fully light itself. Huh? So as we close today, if you don't mind, my little Dylan, she's my little granddaughter, and many of you that have known me over the years came to know Dylan because she was a heart transplant child, and she was only with us for 5 years. She was a master teacher, not just because she was my grandchild, but I could tell you more stories about Dylan and how she came to teach the world about heart and the courage of heart, perseverance of heart, and the resilience of heart, which I believe we're in a moment of that kind of heart moment right now. And when she was born, I caught a song for her. And she wants me to sing you this song as we start this new year. So if you just kind of have a moment with me, I'm going to sing you her lullaby, and she's singing it. She wants you to receive it. So if you just take a moment and go back into that meditative place, and we'll let this song come to all that we hold and cherish that is brand new in us and waking. I'm calling the dream man, I'm calling the dream man to come on down, to come on down. I'm calling the dream man, I'm calling the dream man to come on down, to come on down. Bring your dreams of possibility, come on down, come on down. I'm calling the Holy One, I'm calling the Holy One to come on down, to come on down. I'm calling the Holy One, I'm calling the Holy One to come on down, come on down. Light your fire within us, come on down, come on down. I'm calling the Holy Mama, calling the Holy Mama, come on down, come on down. I'm calling the Holy Mama, calling the Holy Mama, come on down, come on down. Wrap your cloak around this precious one, come on down, come on down. Have a beautiful 2021.
You as well. And to all of those who have been with us today, thank you for being here. And to all of you who watch this in some future time from our moment here, welcome. May you find some wisdom or truth in what was shared here today. I look forward to being back next month on the first Monday for another episode of Wisdom Talks. And Jyoti, do you have any last thoughts before we close for today?
Just remember, the world is as you dream it. So what are we gonna dream? Bye.